The letter A is visually introduced as the focal point. The word ant reinforces the association with the letter A. An animated ant crawling around the letter R visually demonstrates the letter's shape and phonetic sound. The letter B is visually linked to the word bear. A bear is used to reinforce the association between the letter B and the animal. The visual association helps in learning and memorizing the letter B. The letter C is visually introduced as the starting point for learning. The word cat appears associating the letter C with a familiar animal. A playful cat interacts with the letter, reinforcing the association in an engaging way. The letter D is visually associated with the word deer. The presence of a deer reinforces the letter's shape and pronunciation. This visual aid connects letter recognition with vocabulary learning. The letter E is visually associated with the word elephant. A small elephant is present, creating an auditory and visual link to the letter E and the word elephant. This association reinforces the connection between the letter E, the word elephant, and the animal itself. The letter F is visually introduced, representing the initial sound and form. The word fox appears alongside the letter F, establishing a direct association. A fox trots around the letter, reinforcing the letter-animal relationship. The letter G is visually presented alongside the word goat to aid in alphabet recognition. Associating the letter G with the image of a goat enhances the learning experience. Visual learning techniques can make education more engaging and memorable. The letter H is visually associated with the word horse. The pronunciation of H is reinforced by the sound of a horse neighing. The visual and auditory association helps in learning the letter HH. The letter I is visually associated with the word iguana. An iguana is presented to reinforce the phonetic association with the letter I. The visual and phonetic link aids in letter recognition and vocabulary building. The letter J is visually introduced as the starting point. The word J appears alongside the letter J, establishing a direct link. A colourful jaybird interacts with the letter, reinforcing the association. The letter K is visually associated with the word koala to enhance learning. A koala clinging to a tree branch reinforces the association with the letter K. The combination of letter, word, and animal creates an enjoyable learning experience. The letter L is visually associated with the word lion. The letter L is reinforced by the presence and sound of a lion. The visual and auditory elements together emphasize the form and pronunciation of L in lion. The letter M is visually introduced alongside the word mouse. A small mouse interacts with the letter M, reinforcing the association. The visual and auditory connection between the letter M and the word mouse is emphasized. The letter N is visually introduced within a natural forest setting. The word nightingale accompanies the letter N, reinforcing the association. A nightingale sings near the letter, further strengthening the letter-animal connection. The letter O is visually presented alongside the word owl to establish a direct association. An owl is shown beside the letter O to reinforce the connection between the letter and the animal. The combination of the letter, word, and owl creates an engaging learning experience. The letter P is visually introduced alongside the word pig. The form and sound of the letter P are emphasized by a pig. The visual association reinforces the phonetic connection between P and pig. The letter Q is visually associated with the word quail. A quail is shown interacting with the letter Q. reinforcing the phonetic connection. The scene visually links the letter Q with the concept of a quail. The letter R is introduced, paired with the word rabbit, to establish a visual association. A fluffy rabbit interacts with the letter R, reinforcing the letter-animal connection. The visual pairing of the letter R and the rabbit enhances early literacy skills through associative learning. The letter S is visually introduced with the word squirrel to enhance learning. A squirrel actively gathers nuts, associating the letter S with engaging real-world activity. The combination of visual and interactive elements makes the learning process enjoyable and memorable. The letter T is visually associated with the word tiger to reinforce letter recognition. A tiger is used to exemplify the letter T, aiding in pronunciation and memory association. The tiger's roar emphasizes the sound of the letter T, creating an auditory and visual connection. The letter U is visually introduced alongside the word urial. An urial peacefully grazes, establishing a direct association with the letter R. The visual and auditory connection reinforces the association between the letter U and the word urial. The letter V is visually introduced, paired with the word vole. A small vole interacts with the letter V, reinforcing the letter-animal connection. The visual association of V and vole aids in letter recognition and vocabulary building. The letter W is presented alongside the word wolf to facilitate learning. A lone wolf stands beside the letter, enhancing the learning experience through association. The wolf's howl adds an auditory element, making the learning process more interactive and memorable. The letter X visually introduces the term xenops. A xenops bird is shown perched on a branch, linking the visual form to the sound and concept. The combination of the letter X and the xenops bird reinforces the association. The letter Y is visually associated with the word yak. A yak is presented to reinforce the phonetic connection with the letter Y. The visual association aids in learning the letter Y through a memorable animal connection. The letter Z is visually introduced as the initial focus. The word zebra accompanies the letter Z, establishing a direct association. A zebra grazes near the letter, reinforcing the connection between the letter and the animal it represents. The letter A is visually associated with an ant. The letter B is visually associated with a bear. Reinforcing the letter-animal association aids in early literacy. The letter C is visually represented alongside a playful cat. The letter D is presented with a gentle deer. The cat and deer interact playfully around their respective letters, reinforcing letter recognition. The letter E is visually represented by an elephant. The letter F is visually represented by a fox. The sounds of the elephant and fox reinforce the association with the letters E and F. The letter G is visually represented by a goat in its natural habitat. The letter H is visually represented by a horse in a natural setting. Associating animals with letters reinforces letter recognition and recall. The letter I is visually represented alongside an iguana. The letter J is visually represented alongside a J. Both the iguana and J are presented to reinforce letter association. The letter K is visually represented by a koala, emphasizing its phonetic association. The letter L is visually represented by a lion, emphasizing its phonetic association. The size contrast between the koala and the lion visually emphasizes the difference in scale. The letter M is introduced with a visual representation of a mouse. The letter N is presented alongside a nightingale, symbolizing its sound. Both M and N are displayed together, reinforcing letter recognition. Letter O is reviewed with an owl in a nighttime forest setting. Letter P is reviewed with a pig in a nighttime forest setting. The owl and pig are used as visual aids to reinforce letter recognition in a nocturnal environment. The letter Q is visually represented by a quail. The letter R is visually represented by a rabbit. Quick movements of the quail and rabbit highlight their association with the letters Q and R. The letter S is represented by a squirrel amidst a lush forest environment. The letter T is represented by a tiger in a contrasting jungle environment. The squirrel and tiger represent the letters S and T in distinct habitats. The letter U is represented by a urial, a type of wild sheep found in mountainous regions. The letter V is represented by a vole, a small rodent often found in grasslands and forests. Both the urial and vole are presented in their natural mountainous habitat. The letter W is associated with the word wolf, emphasizing its distinct sound. The letter X is associated with the word xenops, highlighting its unique pronunciation. Auditory reinforcement of animal sounds aids in letter sound association for enhanced learning. Letter Y is visually represented by a yak, an animal whose name begins with Y. Letter Z is visually represented by a zebra, an animal whose name begins with Z. Yak and zebra are presented together to reinforce the association of letters Y and Z with their respective animals. Ant, bear and cat are present in a forest clearing. The ant, bear and cat are interacting with each other. The clearing provides a shared space for the ant, bear and cat. Deer, elephants and foxes are observed in proximity to a river within a forest ecosystem. These animals represent diverse species coexisting in a shared habitat. The river serves as a vital resource supporting the needs of various wildlife. A goat, horse and iguana are situated near a rocky outcrop. The rocky outcrop provides a natural habitat and vantage point. The diverse animal species coexist within the forest ecosystem. The letter J is represented by jay, a bird known for its vibrant blue feathers. The letter K is represented by koala, an arboreal marsupial native to Australia. The letter L is represented by lion, a majestic predator symbolizing strength and courage. A mouse, a nightingale, and an owl are gathered under a large tree. The mouse represents the letter M, the nightingale represents N, and the owl represents O. The combination of M, N and O forms a conceptual group within the forest environment. The meadow scene combines three animal characters, pig, quail, and rabbit. These animals represent the letters P, Q, and R respectively. The combination of these animals creates a memorable association for learning the alphabet. A squirrel, a tiger, and a urial are present on a hillside. The squirrel is agile, the tiger is powerful, and the urial is adapted to mountainous terrain. These animals represent different ecological niches within the same environment. The vole, wolf and xenops are presented to represent the letters V, W and X, respectively. The combination of these animals visually represents the corresponding letters in a natural environment. This visual association aids in memorization and letter recognition through animal representation. A, yak, zebra and ant are combined in a diverse landscape. The yak represents the letter Y, the zebra represents the letter Z, and the ant represents represents the letter A. This combination showcases the diversity of life within a forest ecosystem. Animated letters A, B, and C appear sequentially, forming the basis for simple word construction. The letters combine to create words such as cab, bat, and act, visually demonstrating word formation. Corresponding animal images appear alongside each word, reinforcing the association between word and object. The letters F, E, and D animate to form the word fed. The letters D, E, and F animate to form the word deaf. The letters F, R, and D animate to form the word FAD. The letter G transforms into words like gig, accompanied by corresponding animal appearances. The letter I forms words such as hip, with corresponding animal animations. The letter I also forms words like eye, with animated animal representations. The letter J animates to form the word jab as a boxing kangaroo appears. The letter L animates to form the word leg as a cartoonish leg appears. The letter L animates to form the word lip as a pair of cartoon lips appears. The letter M transforms into words such as mob, mom, and mop. Each word is visually associated with its corresponding animal or object. This visual association helps in vocabulary building and recognition. The letters R, A, P appear, forming the word rap. As the word rap completes, a corresponding animal appears. This process repeats with other letter combinations and corresponding animals. Animated letters S, T, T, O appear sequentially, highlighting their individual forms. The letters combine to form words like sun, tub, and sut, showcasing letter combinations. Corresponding animals and objects appear alongside the words, reinforcing the association. The letter V transforms into X, initiating word formation. The letters VEX appear, accompanied by a visual representation of the word's meaning. Words like WAX and WEXs are formed, each paired with corresponding animal depictions. The letter Y forms, morphing into the word yak, followed by the appearance of a yak. The letter Z forms, morphing into the word zip, followed by the appearance of a zipper. The animation demonstrates letter-to-word association and corresponding object visualization. Interactive games can effectively help children associate letters with corresponding animals. This matching game enhances letter recognition and vocabulary development in an engaging format. The game reinforces the connection between visual representations of animals and their written names through interactive play. An interactive game prompts children to spell simple words. The game utilizes learned letters to reinforce spelling skills. Successful spelling results in positive feedback and visual rewards. An interactive game challenges children to identify animals based on a given letter. The game enhances letter recognition and animal association skills in a playful environment. Correct animal identification provides positive feedback, reinforcing learning through gamification. The alphabet begins with A, represented by an animated apple and an ant. The letter M is showcased with a monkey swinging from a branch. The alphabet concludes with Z, symbolized by a zebra grazing peacefully. The alphabet is introduced through a song associating each letter with a distinct animal sound. Each animal sound corresponds to the initial sound of the animal's name, reinforcing phonetic awareness. The song provides an engaging and memorable method for learning the alphabet, using auditory and visual association. Animals are organizing themselves into a line. The animals are lining up in alphabetical order. The completed line showcases the animals in perfect alphabetical sequence. The alphabet from A to Z is presented in a circular arrangement. Each letter in the circle corresponds to a specific animal. The arrangement visually associates each letter with its corresponding animal. Clear pronunciation is essential for early language development. Associating letters with animal names aids in vocabulary acquisition. Repetition reinforces the connection between letters, sounds, and words. Animals in the forest engage in amicable interactions. The scene illustrates interspecies harmony and cooperation. Such interactions highlight the interconnectedness of the forest ecosystem. The alphabet A to Z transforms into corresponding animals in a vibrant forest setting. Each animal transformation visually represents the connection between letters and their associated creatures. The animated sequence showcases an engaging and educational visual representation of the alphabet. A visual quiz presents children with images of animals, each requiring the selection of the correct starting letter. The quiz format reinforces letter recognition and association with familiar animals. This interactive method enhances early literacy skills through engaging visual learning. An interactive visual quiz presents animal options for each letter of the alphabet. Children are prompted to select the animal that corresponds to the displayed letter. Correct selections trigger positive feedback, reinforcing learning. Letters and animal figures progressively vanish within a forest setting. The sequence demonstrates a gradual reduction of visible elements. This animation illustrates a process of systematic removal. Letters and animals reappear, reinforcing the learning process. Repetition of visual elements aids in memory retention and knowledge consolidation. Visual reinforcement enhances the educational experience by solidifying learned concepts. All letters of the alphabet are displayed together in a natural forest setting. Various animals associated with each letter are also showcased within the forest environment. The scene combines letters and animals to create a visually engaging and educational tableau. The alphabet song plays as the credits roll. Animal sounds accompany the visual presentation. Credits display against a vibrant forest backdrop. The words "the end" appear, signifying the conclusion. The final animal sound marks the definitive close of the narrative. The fading text and sound symbolize the conclusion of the story. This educational module is now complete. Consider reviewing the material to reinforce your understanding. Rewatching the content can solidify knowledge, retention, and improve long-term recall. Click the replay button to begin the module again and deepen your comprehension.